I'm
great,
Pastor
man.
John McClain here with my partner in crime, T.R.U.E. And I
go.
say he's my partner in crime because he motivationally coaches me to be able to make my dreams come true.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you have not reached out to him yet, I feel sorry for you, but you have the opportunity. So
reach out, yeah.
yeah,
Come
reach
on.
out. Why not?
Yeah.
And as that young man, the 14-year-old young man that just graduated 8th grade, going into 9th grade, said,
Damn.
this is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. And we have an awesome show today, just like every show. I mean, it's odd. Like, as we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary for this show, like, we got it locked in.
Yep.
Like, every single week, we have powerhouse guests. We
Absolutely.
have,
I agree, man.
kind of like pillars of our community in a lot of ways that we have come in here, just amazing people. So
I agree.
I'm excited for another show. Today we have Patrick Lopez Jr.
Different middle name, but Junior will work.
Yeah, okay. But just Patrick Lopez, let's say. We'll give him,
Yeah.
he has his own name. He has his own name to people. Because actually I have a Junior, but he doesn't like to go by Junior. Yeah, he's his own, I go by John. He goes by Jonathan.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's his own man. He stands alone. Patrick Lopez in here. This man stands alone. He's the vice president of MPG Automotive Services, and he's going to be talking to us regularly on this show, but particularly this show we're going to be talking about the different business challenges that they have and kind of like the makeup of what is MPG Automotive. So I'm excited about this. And the thing I love about this organization whenever we have them on is it always feels like, man, I wish we had another hour to cover what they're talking about because they just have so much cool stuff. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then on the second half of the show, we're going to have Mrs. Candice Waller. She is the director of T.R.U.E Counseling. That is, she does couples counseling over there. And I definitely look forward. What I'm really excited with her is tips, you know, that couples can kind of get on how to get through things, particularly when after COVID, like some of us have been like locked up with our mates in a way we're not used to. So, you know, certainly we can use any help we can get in dealing with each other. It's not easy. And but like always, I'm going to give grace to a very loving God that just blesses me so very much with my little son that's here today on camera. Look. And, you know, here to spend time with. And I got, you know, plenty of great family and people around me. And it's just, I'm so blessed. Andreas, I know you're blessed. Your son's starting basketball. That's going to be the jam. I can't wait to see that.
I know, man.
All pun intended. And we have it good. But above all, we want to make sure we remind God that we know that he's the one who made it possible. And this week we're going to read the Lord's Prayer. And it goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. So, that being said, man, I feel like we already got the flow going. I feel like we're almost halfway done with the show. This thing always whips by so quickly. But let me thank you once again, Mr. Patrick Lopez, for being here with us, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I am not against Junior, by the way. It's just my dad fought that. He wanted me to have my own middle name, my own personality, and I take it as an honor to be called Junior.
Yeah.
It's funny because our stores inadvertently they've done that. They've called me Junior. Or,
that's cool. It's just simpler.
It's better than Patrick Edward because that means I'm in trouble. So
for sure.
I don't need to hear that.
Yeah, when you hear that, you can hear that from down the street. You're like, let me wait. Well, cool. Well, let's just for those who didn't catch you on the show in the past, just fill us in on what MPG Automotive is, and then let's talk about some of the challenges that you guys are facing so far lately, and with local economy particularly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, MPG Tire and Auto is a local family-owned business.
Okay.
We have 10 locations in the Tucson area. We're actually expanding in El Paso. We already have 3, and we're going to be adding some more. Thankfully to all the people that have supported us. We're a full service, one-stop shop automotive. So all makes and models of vehicles, from tires and brakes all the way up to engine replacements. We do it all.
Nice.
So really, we just pride ourselves in being the place that customers can bring their vehicle to us with a problem and leave knowing that it's been handled and solved for them. So,
so explain to us, like, particularly recently, what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced with the local economy, specifically when we're talking about staffing?
Yeah, so I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah. I think a lot of people have had that issue. We've heard of restaurants not being able to get fully staffed, and a lot of service industry is like that. It's interesting because even before the pandemic, the automotive industry has seen a decline in people with that specialty coming in. And it takes a lot of talent, it takes a lot of skill to do that. So we've had a challenge, especially with the pandemic, getting enough people on board that work well in our model and that are gonna provide the exceptional customer service that we expect, right? I think we have a great team on our hands. I just think that they're doing a little extra work because we don't have enough help, and so I think that's something that we've tried to fix. As we've talked in our previous encounters, we talked about the Gap Ministries program that we do, the Auto Tech Training Program.
Yeah.
And really that's our way of addressing kind of this lack of people that are coming into the market with this skill set. If we can train them the way that we need them to do the job and the way that many of others would appreciate new applicants to this industry, then we should do it ourselves, type of thing. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I was going to ask that question is if that program with Gap Ministries was a byproduct of that, but you answered that question. But it's interesting thoughts. And I extend to the public, MPG Automotive is a great company. If you're a mechanic locally and you're looking for work, this is definitely a place that I would suggest reach out to them, see what's going on. And if you're not quite sure, check out the program that they're doing with Gap Ministries. It's kind of like a stepping stone into kind of figuring out if this is a good fit for you. Don't just take my word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Anybody that has that skill set or knows someone with that skill set, if they want to refer them to us, I think it's a great company. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased, but we have plenty of other employees. Feel free to stop by a location, ask them what they think about it. But we're always looking to hire good quality individuals at all times, but especially now because our customers are needing that exceptional service as they're getting their vehicles back on the road, right? As we're all starting to travel a little bit more. So you can reach us at mpgtireandauto.com. Fill an application there.
Nice.
Or at any one of our locations. Like I said, feel free to talk to them. I'm sure that they're going to give you a good recommendation for working with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to talk about all that and more after this break. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean here with my oldest son, Tristan, as well as one of my older friends, Mr. Andreas Ruiz, with I Believe in Myself Coaching, here to coach us all, coach humanity on this. And we don't have a card.
Yeah, man. And then we have Patrick. Patrick, man, I really, something that I wanted to ask you, man, was you mentioned how there's like people struggle with, this skill set of like being a mechanic or something like that. Like, why do you think people have challenges like getting into the industry?
Well, I think it goes along the lines of other industries, electricians, plumbers. It's a skilled trade with your hands, and there are a lot of people out there that can do it. They've just gone down a different career path, and with this program, it's really taught us that there are people out there that are looking to kind of change their skills and get a new skill set. And so, I don't know if it's just a culture and how it's been changing, but there's still a need for auto technicians and people that think critically about how to diagnose a vehicle. It's not just something that everybody intuitively has. It's something that can be taught, but to be able to fix a vehicle is pretty impressive. It's a machine that takes engineers and thousands of millions of dollars to create, right? Well, to fix it is equally as difficult. So
well, on the last show you were telling us about, and I was just like awed by it, the lifetime part program that you guys have, and how you have this thing, like, I don't know. If I'm misquoting you, tell me. But you said something like $10, and the parts guaranteed for life.
Yeah, well, I'll explain a little more just to make sure we're clear.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, that's the gist of it.
Huh.
I mean, the reason we have the tagline "Buy it once and never purchase it again" is because it's meant to be that simple. It's on any new part that you purchase for $10 additional. You can get that part guaranteed for life. Everybody asked at that point, "What's a catch?" We talked about it last time too. There's just that we want to see the vehicle, we want to inspect the vehicle, and we want to make sure that it's properly, the part that we're taking care of is properly working. So we require an inspection every 12 months or 12,000 miles. And then we also may require service, just depending on the part, right? If it's an engine or something like that, it's going to need oil changes regularly. So we're going to need to make sure that that's done. So, but it's meant to keep it so that you can minimize some of those costs over time, but more importantly, your vehicle lasts longer, right? I think all too often we're getting rid of a vehicle because of one massive repair that we've maybe done 2-3 times and we're just sick of it, right? Well, instead, let's enroll it in this program. We'll make sure we take care of it. Maybe we'll get a little extra life out of it, but in the eventuality that it may fail, well, at least somebody's going to help you with that bill.
Yeah.
Right.
And tell me about, like, I think we touched on it a little bit last show, but I certainly wanted to I think it was one of those things that I wanted to speak about for the next hour, or needs another hour, is the maintenance plans you guys have.
Yeah, we briefly touched on it, and so I'm glad you brought that up. The maintenance plans are something that it comes really close to my heart because it's something that I worked quite a lot on. We have a picture in studio, but obviously I'll just do my best to explain it. But we have different plans ranging from $10, and going up from there. And what they are is they're a monthly service plan. They follow the manufacturer recommended intervals for your vehicle. We have our Start Care plan, which really addresses your oil changes, your tire rotations, and your wiper blades. And we're saying instead of spending that upfront cost of the oil change when you need it 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, it's a method called consumption smoothing, right? It's something that we all deal with, whether we realize it or not. If your landlord came to you and said, "Hey, I need all that rent money up front," you'd freak out, right? Well, instead, we pay rent month by month by month instead of incurring that big cost all at once. So that's what the plans are meant for. It's almost like budgeting, basically.
I'm just getting to know you, and I don't know if this is off course, is what I'm about to say, but it just hits me like a strike of lightning. I'm just getting to know you, but what I know of you, I feel like this is you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is genius. I mean, it's beautiful.
It's definitely my dad's brainchild, but it's something that I really fell in love with.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go into economics, and I now have a degree in economics because of this program and how much I really loved it and wanted to learn about how it worked. And we didn't even know about consumption smoothing when we said, you know what, this makes sense. Well, it does make sense. There's a term for it, right? But no, it's fantastic, and we've had these plans for a long time, and thousands of customers have taken advantage of these plans. So like I said, the Start Care is just that. It's all those services that we know we're going to have to take care of anyways, right? And then we have plans that go up from there. We have the next one, which is the More Care plan. It includes everything from the Start Care plan. The only difference is it adds in now the filters, so your air filter, your cabin filter, and your fuel filter, which are items that are, if you don't have your cabin filter replaced regularly, it gets clogged, starts costing you MPGs, can cost you money, can cause other issues. Well, it's a good way to not have to pay that when you have it, bad, and you're like, okay, well, now I have an oil change, plus I have this. Instead, it's $25 a month or thereabout, depending on how much you drive. So and then we go up from there, and this actually, the third plan is our most popular, the Extend Care plan. And that's because it included everything we talked about before: the oil changes, tire rotations, wiper blades, all those filters, and it includes our fluid flushes. So you have many of fluids in your vehicle, power steering, brakes, coolant, and then obviously your transmission, right? And those can be big expenses over time, right? So instead, we offer the plan starting at $45 a month. It's more manageable. If you needed those services, you don't have to be like, oh, I don't have the money to put it all out right now. It's almost a good way to budget it and say, look, when I need this, I know it's going to be taken care of, and I don't have to worry about it. So that plan's fantastic. It even includes wheel alignments in there. That's something that people absolutely love because they know that their vehicle is going to be driving straight down the road. When we have many potholes here, they're going to try to get us off course. So.
In Tucson? No.
Yeah, go figure. That could be a whole other show.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff, and it definitely looks like there's this the next plan, the total care plan, it
Yeah.
kind of like almost like covers it all. But
Yeah.
we have probably about a minute and a half left. Tell people again how they can connect with MPG Automotive.
Yeah,
And I can't wait to have you on again so we
Yeah.
can kind of talk about the next group of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. All this stuff is on our website, so they can connect with us there, mpgtireandauto.com. Reach out to us if you want to on Facebook. We're, MPG Automotive Services. We're working on changing the name to MPG Tire and Auto, but that's what we started as. So, but either way, you can obviously reach us on all other social medias, Twitter, Instagram, any of those. We're more than happy to engage with people in the community.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess the one thing we didn't touch on, if for the people who want to sign up for the program you do with Gap Ministries, kind of that same channel.
Yeah, so gapmin.com for that
Okay.
one. And I should mention, since we talked about the maintenance plans for any of your customers that come in and they mention that they heard about this and they want to get signed up,
Nice.
we'll waive the sign-up fee. There's normally a $19.95 sign-up fee, but we'll waive that for you guys just for mentioning the Common Good Radio Show.
Nice. So you guys heard it here first. If you say that you heard about this special from MPG Automotive about the maintenance plan, your sign-up fee is waived. So $20 in your pocket on your boy, Pastor John McClain. You're welcome.
Nice.
So thanks again, Patrick Lopez,
thank
for
you.
coming in, or as they call you in certain shops, just to make it easy because they're efficient, Junior. Thanks for being here, brother. And always love having you on. Look forward to having you on again, probably almost approximately a month from now.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time, brother.
Thank you.
This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pat. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am John, sometimes, Dad in some occasions, and Pastor John McClain when I eat, sleep, and breathe. And I'm here with some of my favorite people, but definitely one of my best friends, and Andreas Ruiz. And without him, this show, you would not be hearing us right now because he motivated me to do it. And I motivated him to do it.
I think
So
you're the one.
we're back and forth,
That was
you
good.
and I. We're just a good partnership. We just are. There's a bromance you're seeing going on. And we have in studio, we just had in studio with us Mr. Patrick Lopez, or Patrick Lopez Jr., as I like to call him because I have an affinity for juniors. You actually have a kind of junior as well.
Kind of, yeah.
But you gave him his own middle name as well?
Mhm,
Yep. So, yeah, that's a thing. But my guy, I was just like, nah, you're getting it all. Jonathan Lee McClain, boom. But then I guess there was like, and this is on record now, there was a mess up when we were filling out the forms at the hospital, and they didn't put the junior. So he has my exact same name. But I call him Jonathan Lee McClain Jr. And he says to himself he's Jonathan Lee McClain Jr., but he doesn't like to go by Junior.
Okay.
So it's a thing. So don't call him Junior. He'll
Yeah, I
give you a look. And he's like, he's only 13, but he is 5'10", almost 5'11". So
Big guy.
he's not a little guy. So be careful. But anyway, so enough with the jokey joke. Hello. We have Candice Waller here in studio with us. She is a licensed counselor pretty much everywhere, it seems, but definitely here in Arizona. And her particular specialty is couples counseling. So thank you for being here with us, Candice.
Thanks for having me. This is my first in-studio interview for a radio. I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah, you have to talk into it and just talk into it directly. But I got the engineers back there doing like air traffic control signals at me. So, but you good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So
you got it.
tell us what is T.R.U.E counseling, and we'll go from there.
Well, T.R.U.E Counseling is a private practice that's geared towards romantic couples just trying to reestablish their relationship or formulate a new style of relationship, or just couples who are just trying to navigate like what their life is going to look like, whether they're married or wanting to be married. And so what we do is like we work with couples and we give them tools, communication styles. Hopefully we'll go into workbooks and workshops and all type of things to kind of help the community to help foster better, healthy relationships.
Okay. So I know this is probably going to be maybe somewhat of a curveball, but like when you think of relationships, like it's such a big part of their life, and most people like even breaking through the barriers of getting counseling in the first place is just so difficult. Like, and I'm sure you're constantly questioned. So like what certifications or like what what qualifications do you kind of like do people know that you have, or do you have that that make it so they're kind of their worries are put at ease?
Oh, yeah. So, first, I have a bachelor's in psychology from Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. Secondly, I have a master's in professional counseling. And lastly, I'm finishing up my doctoral degree in clinical counseling, teaching, and supervision. And along with that, I am licensed in 3 states,
Nice.
which will be Tennessee, Georgia, and I just added Arizona to the list of states.
Wow. Wow, even Arizona. So you're doing it now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, what do you think is like the biggest stigma around relationships? Like when it comes to relationships, like why? Because I know there's a stigma there. A lot of people don't want to talk about their problems. What do you think is like the biggest thing like around that?
Oftentimes, I think it's just because of the way we were raised, just depending on your culture.
I love that.
A lot of cultures come into the world of just what happens in our home stays in our home, or you don't go to therapy because that's for people who are unwell. And so a lot of times if we're growing up with those kind of subtle nuances, it impacts us when it's really time for us to seek help. We don't know what to do. So sometimes we'll go to our pastor, or sometimes we'll go to elders in the church or things of that nature, when really we should just come to therapy.
That's really good right there. And I think you really hit the nail on the head, because I've seen a lot of people, it's kind of like, don't be telling people about our business, because then they'll spread rumors, and then unfortunately you keep that to yourself, and then you suffer in thought. So that's great. That's a great answer. So why have you chosen couples as your specialty?
Well, I just love families, and I think the best way to have a good family, or a healthy family, or healthy as you can be, is to have a positive couple relationship. So oftentimes what happens is that when people get married or have kids, they tend to put their entire focus on the children, thinking that the children should come first. But in reality, the coupleship should come first, because the coupleship is most of the time came before the children, the money, all of the things that you guys accomplish together. So I love my family. My dad is one of 8 kids. I have a large family. I have 15, 16 first cousins. It's a lot of us all somewhere all the time. It's just busy, and I just love it. So I kind of want to give to people a little bit of what I had growing up. Okay. But I understand every couple, every relationship, every family is different.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good stuff. And yeah, you're right. Like when it comes to, it's got to be the mom and the dad first, because if they're not taken care of, they can't take care of their kids. Yeah. And what are your thoughts in regards to like the way that we act as opposed to what we tell our kids on how to act? Like,
oh yeah, so that's typically called like the authoritarian parenting style, the do as I say, not as I do type of mentality, which isn't bad. It's just we're understanding with this level of this generation, it doesn't work that well. So in past generations, we didn't have technology. Money may have been scarce. So a lot of families were surviving. So they took their children under the survival kind of mode of like, hey, we have to work. We have to do this to pay the bills, go to school. But this generation that we're seeing is a lot more emotionally intelligent. So they are able to pick up the differences versus behavior versus what you're actually saying. So they can see the difference, and sometimes that can foster, other things down the road. Like when they become teenagers, they may tend to act out or just kind of question of like, Mom, you said this.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so much good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll be back with
golden nuggets, man.
Candice Waller with True Counseling after this break. Definitely, if you want to check out more about our show, go to veteranrescuemission.org. So this is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, and Tristan and Pastor John McLean and Andreas Ruiz of the I Believe in Myself clan, and they can coach you into your dreams.
Yes.
It's amazing. By just like a lot of different angles and options are available in the I Believe in Myself grab bag of motivation.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And then before we left you, we were talking to Miss Candice Waller, soon to be Dr. Candice Waller,
Nice.
with True Counseling, discussing a lot of awesome stuff
Absolutely.
in regards to couples. And I almost felt like I walked in on a counseling session between Andreas and Candice, just because I think she has that power. But tell us, I guess, kind of just to give something to those that are at home that are in a couplehood that are looking for a little something special. You know, what are healthy activities that couples can do to build their relationship?
Healthy things that couples can do is probably practice active listening, which is something that we don't do. A lot of times we hear people, but we're not actually listening to them. And so hearing and listening, as many of us have probably were told when we were young kids, it's two different things. So one healthy thing that you can actually do is make I feel statements of like, I feel this, instead of saying you making me feel this way. You can say, I feel this as a result of what's happening around me. Because when you say you are making me feel this way, it makes the other person get automatically defensive. And then they cannot hear or listen to anything that you are saying because they're already building their rebuttal. So when you take on the responsibility of your feelings, that can help kind of move the conversation in the way that you are wanting it to go, which is hopefully a peaceful resolution.
Yeah,
nice.
I love that. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Because how often do we actually listen to understand? Like, we listen often to react or to say, hey, like, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. So it's kind of like a back and forth, and it's like two kids arguing. So I really love that. And it's happened to me. I've been there. So
it's interesting that you said that it's like two kids arguing, because a lot of times what happens when you come into couples counseling, it's not the two adults that's arguing. It's the two little children that we have that has unhealed trauma that's really arguing with each other.
That's
so
like a quote. You need to write that down.
I know, man.
You
should write a book. I'm serious. This is like nuggets like crazy, man.
So the unhealed trauma that we have, when that trauma happens, whatever age that happened, that's what we're arguing against. So I may have two 35-year-olds in the room, but it's really a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old that's arguing. And they don't even realize it until we kind of unpacked some of the social behavioral patterns that we were taught. So that's good that you brought that up.
No, that's really a great answer. And so, like, in regards to like unpacking that, like, I mean, it's probably like a bunch of stuff that you've probably seen, but like, what is like the most common one that you come up with like raising people's awareness or consciousness in regards to that little child that needs to be healed?
Most of the time when I have couples come into the session, I look for three things. It's going to sound really crazy. Okay. Well,
No,
interesting. So I look up their attachment styles. I give them an attachment style quiz. I give them a love language quiz. And I also look up their zodiac signs. And so these are three things that do not change, because you can't change your birthday, obviously. You can't change your attachment style. And then most of our love language are what they are. And so once I can understand these three things, I can kind of help each couple kind of guide their communication style and kind of guide practices to help them navigate what they need to do to heal. So.
Wow, that's, man, this is like mind blown. So really good stuff. So actually, like, I think what can couples do following COVID to adjust?
Yeah, that's definitely one I was really interested about. It's just like I was talking about earlier, with COVID, we've been locked in with our couples in a way that we're not used to. And now the kind of things are, I use air quotes for those that aren't listening and not watching. Now that things are opening, what can people do to start to kind of transition back to what would have been old world, or, even deal with the wounds that may have been caused in that time when they were locked together?
Yeah, the first thing I really help couples to understand is just give them each other grace, and we have to come to a level of acceptance that what we used to do, we may not no longer be able to do. And so giving grace of just giving the space to grow and what that means for each person, because no one could have predicted 2020 was going to happen. So now that we have to build a new normal, we can give each other the grace to figure out what a new normal looks like for the coupleship. Because some of the coping skills of like leaving the home or going to a different room, those may not work anymore. So you have to find new coping skills that can help progress the relationship, because we've been stuck in a house together. So going to another room doesn't work anymore because you can just be followed into the other room. You can't leave the house anymore because stuff was out there trying to get us. So we have to find new coping skills to kind of help us deal with the regulations of our feelings in ways that we've never been challenged before. So giving ourselves grace and giving our partners grace to grow and expand.
And what would you say are like some coping skills like that you could, maybe some really simple coping skills for couples out there for them to practice, or maybe that you teach your couple?
Yeah. So like I said before, the I feel statements always help. Another thing that we do is one person being able to disconnect the conversation, but making a plan of action to come back to solve whatever the issue is. Because a lot of times we're responding to nonverbal behavior, which is why, tones or vocabulary changes, because we're not responding to what the person actually said. We're responding to the nonverbal communication that they're giving off. So sometimes we have to separate and then set a date and time to come back to have the conversation. If it's a serious conversation. Now, if it's just a little tiny conversation that sometimes we can just have little tiny spats, you can just realize like, okay, this may be a symptom of a bigger issue, and then be okay with having those 10-minute uncomfortable conversations that we may need to kind of push past the little tiny kind of problems that come up from time to time. So I feel statements, separating, having time to come back, and then also practicing a level of honesty to see what is the real problem, because us fighting over peanut butter is not the real problem.
What would you say are like why do people have such a hard time having these difficult conversations, these confrontations with their couple? What are your thoughts? Yeah,
because it goes exactly to what you just said. We view them as a confrontation instead of saying, what can we do to grow as the couple? So if you plan to be with someone for the rest of your life and the average age of living is 87, possibly give or take, depending on your culture, you're going to have weird conversations, but not looking at them as a battle to be won, but as a piece of a puzzle that we're putting together to complete our life. That's two different ways to look at it.
I know, dude. I'm like, I'm writing your book right now. You know that, right? I'm writing your book. So
it's really just our perception of how can I have this conversation to progress us as a couple and not look at it as you are the enemy, I'm here to take you out. Because that will change the language of how you even communicate with that person.
Wow. Damn, like good stuff, really, man. Like I'm blown away by all the information. So thank you for that. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the big thing that I've learned in knowing the work that she does is like it almost seems like every couple could use a tune-up or use like a maintenance check every now and again to kind of see make sure everything's okay. Make sure everything's as it should be. And the big thing, I guess we got a couple minutes so we got to get out of here. Explain like the process people can expect in signing up with you, and then what it looks like to get a free consultation with T.R.U.E Counseling.
Yeah, so if you want to reach out to me, you can definitely email me at onetruecounseling@gmail.com or give me a call at 520-800-4609 or find me on Instagram. And so at the same handle, T.R.U.E Counseling. So essentially what happens is that you'll contact me. We will have a 30-minute discussion on what you're looking for, what you need, what the issues you feel are arising. And then once you and your partner make the choice to come in, we'll do one couple session, and then we'll split up and have 2 individual sessions so I can just kind of get a better understanding of what each party's perception is, and then we'll come back and set up a treatment plan and start kind of working through. So that's typically how the process kind of works out, at least for the first month. That's probably how it works out.
Well, that's awesome.
Nice. So you said T.R.U.E Counseling is right, Instagram?
Yes, One True Counseling on Instagram and onetruecounseling@gmail.com if you want to
Okay.
email me. And my
All
number
right,
is
I'm gonna follow you. So like, this is good stuff.
520-800-4609.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so Facebook, Instagram, 520-800-4609, onetruecounseling@gmail.com. That's True Counseling. Candice Waller here in studio with us, soon to be Dr. Candice Waller. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Golden nuggets, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
You bring the
Yeah,
good stuff.
I
We're going to
enjoyed
have
it
to have you
too.
back again.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have like the
I'm gonna bring my questions. man.
counselor tip of the month.
I have
Yeah.
my questions ready with my notepad. or
Yeah,
something.
or maybe just bring your wife in here. We'll do like a 30-minute counseling session. What do you think? What do you think? Well, this is the Common Good Radio Show.